Welcome to Mr. Giant Reacts and Ting and Ting and Ting. I'm Mr. Giant, back with another video for you all. And I have never heard of this region of Ireland until someone mentioned it in the comment section. It was a young lady who said that she's from that region and thing, and I was like, hey, that sounds kind of interesting. Let me see what I could find out about that region, and this is the first time I'm going to be finding out about it, and you're going to see firsthand what I think about it. And this video is called How to Travel Mayo, Exploring Ireland's Wild Atlantic Way. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of excited to see what this is all about. When you think of Ireland, before, I never thought of coastline or anything like that. I knew they were there, but that was not one of the first things that come to mind. More like rolling hills and stuff come to mind. So let's go ahead and YouTube and simmer. Let the giant learn something new, along with whoever is there that haven't heard about this place before. Let's go.
As an Irishman, when people ask me for advice on travelling in Ireland, my response is generally always the same. Once you arrive into Dublin Airport, just get as far west as you possibly can.
Today, we're just about as far west as you possibly can go, and we're about to explore the spectacular wild Atlantic coast of County Mayo. First things first, when traveling in Ireland, it is important to have some sort of vehicle to get around in. There are various car rental services at Dublin Airport, but we would recommend booking well in advance, as this is a very popular way for travelers to get around here, and during peak season, rental cars are in high demand.
The other main way of exploring Ireland is by renting a camper van for the duration of your trip. You will need to get either a car or a camper van, as you just can't see the best of this country, especially the Wild Atlantic Way, by using public transport. By the way, we are Mark and Asia, and this is our Something to Remember YouTube channel. If you haven't seen our previous videos about Donegal and Irish culture, be sure to check them out after this video.
Luckily for us, Mark is from Donegal, and we had the option of driving his family car to start our adventures in Mayo. In our itinerary, we are going to be heading from north to south, but of course you can do this through the opposite direction if that fits your plans better.
Our first stop was in what is probably the most famous stop along Mayo's Wild Atlantic coast, Downpatrick Sea Stack at Downpatrick Head.
Wow. Now I've seen this in
As it's quite a well-known
videos.
place, we had seen loads of pictures and videos of this natural landmark, but we were stunned at how much better it is in person.
I thought, when I looked at the pictures, it's alright, but when we got here, I'm just blown away. So beautiful.
Downpatrick and the surrounding cliffs were formed around 350 million years ago.
There are many theories on how the sea stack was formed, but it is widely accepted that an arch leading to the rock collapsed during very rough sea conditions in 1393.
We had this thing in China that we hated, fences, and we seen like natural attractions that he had these big fences up, and we hated it. But now that I'm standing here at the edge of the cliff in Ireland, I feel like maybe fences are a good idea.
As well as the spectacular sight of the sea stack right in front of you, the surrounding rugged coastline is stunning too, and it was a dream start to our adventures in Mayo.
No parking fees, no admission fees, no ugly fences blocking the view. Downpatrick Head is definitely our cup of tea. We then headed west along the scenic coastal road and soon arrived at the Kejem Fields, the world's most extensive Stone Age monument. These stone-walled fields are the oldest known globally, dating back almost 6,000 years. A viewing platform on the edge of the 110-metre high cliff gives you stunning views of the aforementioned Downpatrick Head and Donegal's famous Slieve League cliffs in the distance. The visitor centre at the Kejem Fields is only €5 to enter and is definitely worth a look around.
By the time we arrived in Belmullet, we had worked up quite an appetite, and we chose to stop off in Talbot's for some pub food, and we were not disappointed. Try the roast beef, it was delicious.
An interesting fact about Belmullet is that it's in the Gaeltacht region, which means that their first language.
You see, that's how I want to travel. Dublin is nice, but on those little areas, just drive around, stop, eat at little local pubs where you have like real local food. Not that Dublin don't have local food, but you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Ain't no cooking like country cooking, if that's what you want to call it, those little small towns, little quaint towns along the way and thing like that. traveling here in America, I used to travel by car mainly. I hardly ever flew. And we would stop in a little town and, look for a little mom and pops, a little place to go grab a bite and thing. Best way. Oh, we have what is called Amish shops, where you could just stop at Amish shops and get food and stuff, and not just food, bakery stuff, you know what I mean, pastries and sweets and stuff, all homemade, you understand? In Virginia, I'm in West Virginia, but in Virginia, there's a lot of farmers markets, so you could go there and you could stop and get fresh fruit and fresh baked pies and all kinds of stuff there. Yeah, you see, that's the beauty of traveling like this. You go to these small towns and you get these people who know how to cook the traditional way and things. So yeah, that's what. Oh man, imagine doing that in Ireland. You get all that Irish food and ambiance and thing.
Language here would be Irish, and all the signs, shop names, pub names would all be in Irish, so it's nice to see.
After a quick stop at Downpatrick, another coastal viewing point not far from Belmullet, we made our way to Portacloy beach to get our hiking fix in for the day. In all honesty, this turned out to be a really simple hike, but we were blown away with the rewards along the way.
Behind me is Portacloy beach. We just parked the car beside the beach, and now we're going on a nice cliff walk around the coast here, so we're looking forward to that. Should be nice.
Trekking through the soft and craggy bogland, you are treated to gorgeous views of this rugged cliff face on the right hand side, and as you get nearer the top, another huge cliff face emerges on the left, giving you 360-degree views of both cliffs, the roaring Atlantic Ocean, Portacloy Beach, and one of the famous Éire signs that are dotted all around the Irish coast.
Éire means Ireland in the Irish language, and during World War II, over 80 of these signs were dotted all along the Irish coastline to warn bombers that they were entering a neutral country.
For us, the experience we had on the Portacloy cliff walk perfectly encapsulates what the Wild Atlantic Way is all about.
It's not only about iconic locations like Downpatrick Head, Slieve League, or the cliffs of Moher. It is also about finding these kind of isolated places in the middle of nowhere with zero tourists and scenery that takes your breath away.
And then there is this stunning beach, and it's all in this purple flowers. So cool.
Of course, you should definitely visit the main attractions, but make sure to leave some room for hidden gems like these on your itinerary. You will not regret it.
No, people. Welcome to Ireland. Another way of making your Wild Atlantic adventure that bit more exciting is choosing off the beaten path accommodation as well.
We are on the Wild Atlantic Way, one of the most rugged coastlines in the world, hence the name, and that's where we are staying.
Camping in Ireland can be a bit risky, as there is the chance that you could be blown into the middle of the Atlantic during the night, but we actually got a really pleasant evening for it.
We set up our tent at Rinroe Beach and even made it to the ocean for a quick dip in the morning. If you think the water must be cold in Ireland's choppy west coast, you would be absolutely right. But it was a great shock to the system to get us ready for another day's exploring.
Just finished a successful night camping. That went a lot more smoothly than expected, I think. And this is a great spot to camp, like a popular area, loads of camper vans, loads of tents. But at the same time, you can find your own little patch. So yeah, if you're coming to Mayo and Belmullet, Rinroe Beach, definitely recommend checking it out for camping.
As our fellow coffee lovers will attest, after a night's camping and a freezing ocean dip, surely there was nothing we could be craving more than a nice strong coffee. And this is where we want to talk about Irish delis. We have proudly travelled far and wide, and we can confirm that nowhere does delis and takeaway coffee quite like we do in Ireland. We stopped at this centre in the tiny town of Bangor Erris on the way to our next destination, and this was exactly what we needed to recharge.
I've just stopped the car along the side of the road because I just noticed something that has blown my mind about the Wild Atlantic Way sign. It says WAW in white on a blue sign, and before I just thought it was like zigzags to like signal the cliffs or waves or something, but it means Wild Atlantic Way. Leave a comment and tell me I'm stupid if that's something that everybody knows. But I was driving there and it was almost like I had a Homer Simpson epiphany moment.
What's an epiphany?
Sudden realization of great truth.
Ireland is a small island that has lots of smaller islands that lie just off its shore, the largest of which is Achill Island, and that is where we are headed next. Even though it is an island, it is conveniently connected to the mainland by a swing bridge, so it's extremely easy and free to access.
If you are planning any kind of a trip to Ireland, you will be aware that there is always the risk of experiencing some, shall we say, adverse weather conditions from time to time. The most important thing to remember is that there are always lots of things to do, even when it is a bit pissy outside, and that is where the Irish American whiskey distillery on Achill Island comes in handy. This is one of very few Irish-run, family-owned whiskey distilleries and the only island whiskey distillery in Ireland. Run by the Mackay brothers in memory of their late father and company founder John Mackay, Irish American whiskey gives you a real sense of what a family-run business should feel like.
We have visited quite a few distilleries before, including some more famous ones like Jameson and Bushmills, but we can honestly say there was something much more authentic about this place, and a stop here should definitely go on your Achill itinerary.
Believe it or not, the lads at Irish American will actually take you on a complimentary tour of the distillery free of charge, but you shouldn't miss out on the chance to pick up a bottle of their Irish American whiskey or their Achill Island whiskey. If whiskey isn't really your thing, they also do gin and vodka there, so there really is something for everyone. One last thing, have you ever heard of the Irish alcohol called poitín? During the 17th century, when Ireland was unfortunately under British rule, the government tried to collect a tax on our beloved poitín. This wasn't an easy task, however, as people just hid the existence of poitín from them. Sometimes they would even hang the poitín and everything they used to make poitín off cliffs so that the authorities couldn't find them. So that really annoyed King Charles, and in 1661 he made poitín illegal in Ireland. This was a part of a bigger effort to repress the Irish culture at the time. Even though it never completely went away, as it was just simply homebrewed under the radar, believe it or not, poitín wasn't made legal in Ireland again until 1997. Nowadays, there aren't that many brewers of Irish poitín, but at Irish American, they're really doing their best to keep it alive.
So this is the poitín that we got at the Achill Island distillery, Irish American whiskey distillery, and it's called the Bodan. It's Irish poitín, 60%, so we're gonna give it a go. Aren't we, Mom?
Yeah.
If you really want to immerse yourself in Irish culture when you're on your trip here, get yourself a bottle of their Bodan poitín at the distillery.
It's nice. It's a nice poitín. I've had some rough poitín before, but that's a nice poitín, which also probably makes it a dangerous poitín. But if you like poitín, that's lovely.
Alright, time to get back to the sightseeing, and next up was a stop off at Tramore Sand Beach to take in the views of the towering Manon Cliffs. The wild Atlantic Way is riddled with spectacular jagged cliffs like this, but we never get sick of seeing them.
Manon Cliffs actually appear in the background of some scenes in a very famous film that had huge success in 2022. So a lot of people don't know that a lot of the Banshees of Inisherin was actually shot on Achill Island, and behind me here is one of those places. For example, it was here that the boats came into the village, and Colin Farrell, who plays Porrick in the Banshees of Inisherin, gets punched by the cop, and he falls down just beside this wall you can see behind me here. So we're going to...
No, I am not used to that kind of a rugged coastline. Where I'm from on the island, it's just like coconut groves, the ocean. In some areas, you know, you go up to the northern part of the island, it's very rainforesty, you know, you walk from the beach right into the rainforest, but it's not dense rainforest per se. There's a little bush path that you go through, but this is totally different with all the cliffs and stuff like that. We don't have a whole lot of cliffs, especially on the side of the island that I lived. There wasn't a whole lot of cliffs because it was the flattest area in the island, right at the edge, the end of the island. And it was always sunshiny and stuff, so seeing the ocean in this light is different for me, you know, with the cliffs and stuff like that. You don't have much of that on the island.
I'm going to try to get to another couple of places that had scenes of the Banshees of Inisherin, so I think it's quite interesting. If you haven't seen that movie, it divides opinion, but me and Asha really liked it. We have been trying not to talk about the weather too much in Ireland because we find it a fairly boring topic, but it is quite funny at the minute because that video you just seen of me talking about the Banshees of Inisherin spots was taken about 3 minutes ago, and now we can't even see outside the window. That is probably an outrageous view, but the fog has set in and we just can't see anything. but in 2 minutes it might be alright again. So we're at the lake, and as you can see the fog has set in, but it's actually lifting a wee bit now. Oh, we can see the mountains. That's nice.
That is
if you've
beautiful.
seen the
Sun is coming out.
Sharon movie, this is where the young fella says to the woman something along the lines of, "Oh, I was just wanting to ask you something. A woman like you would never think about falling in love with a boy like me." Something like that. And she goes. And then if you've seen the movie, we all know what happens then. But yeah, it's cleared up a wee bit now and we can see it. This is cool.
We then tried to go catch a glimpse of Keem Bay, but...
So down there is Keem Beach, one of the most famous beaches in Ireland, and it's from there that you start the hike to Crone Cliffs, but obviously we can't do it today because we wouldn't see where we're going.
We decided we would give Keem Bay another try
Lots
the
of sheep.
following morning, but for today we did have time to squeeze in a mesmeric sunset at the north of the island, as the weather up there was completely different.
That's a sunset and a half, boy.
The Dugort area of Achill is less populated and more remote than main hubs like Key,
That's what I'm
Keem
talking
and
about.
Sound, but where we were spending the night was also incredibly scenic. We had learned by now that no matter where you go on this island, you will be blown away by the natural beauty of its tall, majestic hills, stunning cliff faces and white sand beaches. The hundreds of sheep that roam freely all around the island also give it a very authentically Irish feel.
What's that green stuff on the sheep's back?
As I said, we did return to Keem Bay in the morning for our last stop in Achill, and it was, of course, well worth a visit.
Okay, now that's more like a tropical
This place
beach
has
there.
recently been voted as one of the best beaches in the world, and it's easy to see why.
This is Keem Beach, and behind me is the house of Brendan Gleeson in the movie. So at Keem Beach, the starting point of the hike to Crone Cliffs is here, but today, as you can see, the top of the cliffs will be covered in clouds, so there's no point in doing it. But on a clear day, I'd say it's really worth it.
Atlantic Drive was such a great place to finish our tour of Achill Island, which has become one of our favorite places in the whole of Ireland.
We still have a few
Man.
more places to get to on this 3-day itinerary, and to get to the idyllic Silver Strand Beach in southwestern Mayo, you will need to be well adjusted to driving on these narrow country roads.
So
Oh,
we're
yeah,
driving
that's
on those
like
country
roads back
roads,
home
and
right
we said,
there.
Oh, it's the middle of nowhere, there are gonna be no people, but as you can see, there are quite a few people, and I guess it's worth it, so let's see.
The wind was something else here, so we didn't stay for too long, but it really is a beautiful setting.
The narrow country roads continued until we reached the picturesque lakes of Lough Valley. We went on a little hike into some fields to get a better angle
that,
of the
that's just
valley, and in all
beautiful.
honesty, the wind was pretty strong, but it didn't take away from the beauty
Oh,
of this
man.
area. We were delighted we went off the beaten path to get here.
See, I don't mind a little overcast weather, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind it at all. On the island, I think when you're not in the city and you're out where the you know, where the hills are and where the grass is green and the trees are, you know, out there, it's beautiful. And this is the kind of vibe I like, you know, you go to those remote areas and stuff where you can actually enjoy nature when it's not foggy, obviously. And overcast could be beautiful. Windy, I don't mind the windy, as long as I wear something warm.
Eventually, we made our way to our last destination on our Mayo trip, and now it was time to let our hair down after all that sightseeing. You may have noticed that our shiny new suitcases featured a bit in the first part of the video, and that is because we think they are just too sleek not to share. We are probably in the minority of travellers who actually prefer taking suitcases rather than backpacks. We know that's a bit controversial, as 99% of people we meet travelling always have their big bulky backpacks with them instead. Our problem was that for our recent trip through South and Central America, we didn't invest in good quality luggage, and therefore after 7 months of hauling our cases around, they just about managed to make it through the trip in one piece.
But things are going to be different from now on.
because we have finally gotten some luxury, high-quality luggage from a New York-based company called Level 8 Luggage. For the shorter trips, like a 3-day trip to Mayo, that we don't need to check in our luggage for, this mini, oh so sleek aluminium suitcase is not only the prettiest suitcase we have ever seen, it is also incredibly practical and durable. As for our checked luggage, we can't get over how smoothly this gorgeous 28-inch luminous suitcase glides over rough surfaces with ease, and our 28-inch Voyager suitcase is specially designed for durability with its wide trolley design. Both of these suitcases are extremely spacious on the inside and allow you to organize your belongings with their handy compartments. Level 8 have a variety of styles and designs to suit every type of traveller. Just look at this little carry-on piece with a built-in compartment to keep your laptop, tablet and other valuables safe. If you feel like you need an upgrade on your current luggage, head over to the Level 8 website by clicking the link in the description and use the promo code SOMETHINGTOREMEMBER10 for 10% off.
We arrived in Westport quite hungry and decided to have dinner in a bar called MJ Hoban's. You can't really go too far wrong with the bar food in Ireland, and we'd suggest going for the battered fish and chips here.
Westport itself is a scenic town that is hugely
years.
popular among both locals and tourists alike. We heard it described as a mini Galway, which suited us down to the ground, as Galway is definitely one of our favourite places. It is also a great starting point if you want to climb Patrick Mountain. We would imagine coming to Westport to climb Patrick and then going for a few creamy pints in the town afterwards sounds like a pretty nice couple of days. Speaking of pints,
We're off to try what the Guinness Guru recommends as being the best pint of Guinness in Westport. If you've tried Guinness abroad and you didn't really like it, you still have to come to Ireland and try it. And if there's something really wrong with you that you don't like it here, then Asya will tell you what you should drink instead.
Even though Guinness didn't really grow on me, I really like Irish cider, and this is Rockshore, my favorite. I also like Bulmers, but I prefer Bulmers in cans and Rockshore unroofed. So if you come here, try it out.
the Guinness here did not disappoint, and we found a live music session in a pub called the Porterhouse, which kept us going for the night.
We found this nice Airbnb about a 10 or 15 minute walk from Westport city centre, and it's a really nice place with a nice view of Patrick here, and it was just €58 for the night, so I think it's really reasonable.
So that is it about Mayo. In our next video we will explore Kerry's wild Atlantic coast, so make sure to subscribe to
Man, that was beautiful. Just imagine driving down them roads, going to those cliffs. Ireland is a really beautiful place. The world is a beautiful place, man. We need to stop with the chaos and the confusion and the quest for more material stuff and just enjoy the world as is. You know, understand what I'm saying? Thing? God. Hopefully one day I could be driving that road, you know what I mean, taking in the sights, you know. Thank you all for watching this with me. If you like what you see, go ahead and drop a like on the video. Also comment down below, tell me more, you know what I mean. I know I have a couple of, a few Irish people that watch my videos and stuff like that. And go ahead and share the video. Let people know the Giant is doing reactions and thing with a little storytelling along the way. You understand what I'm saying? Thing. In the meantime, y'all take care of each other, alright? Cool runnings.